Have you ever felt at a loss for words when somebody tells you, I could get that cheaper somewhere else, and you just don't really know what to say or where to take the conversation? I'm Amy Walker, and I help small business owners and entrepreneurs be able to grow their business while maintaining balance at home. And today we are talking about the price comparison and what to do so that you don't get thrown off when someone says, $50, I could get that at Walmart for 20. For all the tips that you need to grow your business while being able to maintain life balance, make sure that you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification so you can be notified when new content comes out every Tuesday. So if you are tired and frustrated and overwhelmed with price comparisons, you need to watch this video all the way until the end. I'm sharing with you my formula that I use in order to be able to overcome that pricing objection without discounting myself and my services and the value that I bring to the table. So if you're ready for a proven formula that has worked for me and also for hundreds of my clients, stay tuned until the end. I don't know about you, but this one is actually a trickier objection for me than others because of course you can get it cheaper for somewhere else. You could Google business advice and get free articles all over the place. You could look at some, community college course. You could look at free resources. You could find an old retired businessman who, truthfully, their marketing strategies are 20 years out of date, but they're bored and they'll help you. There's a lot of things that you could do to get business help for less. So of course you can find it somewhere cheaper. But you know what? My goal isn't to be the cheapest. And here's what I know. You can't get the experience of working with me with anybody else. So this one, it always throws me a little off guard at first because it's like, duh, of course you can get it for cheaper somewhere else. My goal isn't to be the cheapest option out there because the cheapest option is free. And you can get a lot of stuff for free these days. So what we've got to do is we've got to learn how do we reframe the conversation so that it doesn't feel like a stopping point, but we're able to move through it. So if you want more help in learning how to overcome your sales objections and just really beef up your skill set, I am going to give you a chance to get my new book, the I'm Not a Salesperson sales book, Sell Like a Natural, even if you're not. At the end, I'll tell you how you can get that for free. And it covers a lot of the stuff that we're talking about today, plus so much more. So question of the day, how do you respond when someone tells you that they can get your same service or product for less money? Leave it in the comments. I have got 5 tips for you today, and 3 of them actually happen before you're gonna get to the objection, because the best place to overcome objections is before they even give them to you. And that is true on all of the objections, but specifically on these ones, it's not just true, it's essential. 3 of these things have to happen during your sales presentation. So the first one is positioning value versus cost. You've got to help them understand that there is a value for everything you decide to do and there is a cost associated with it. But here's the problem. Most people think of this backwards. They think of the cost of the solution instead of thinking of the cost of the problem. So they're looking at it backwards, and we've got to shift the way that we look at that. We want all of our prospects to be thinking of how much is this problem costing me? And what is the value of the solution if I can solve the problem? So it's all focused on the value and the cost of the problem, not the value and the cost of the solution. Do you see how that's backwards? You think about the last time you bought something and you were like, well, just tell me how much does it cost? And then you're gonna judge it based on the cost instead of judging it based on what's my actual problem and how much is that costing me? Because let me just tell you, if you don't know how to sell, that's costing you hundreds of thousands of dollars over the lifetime of your journey as an entrepreneur. That is an extremely high cost. And then you position that with like the cost of buying a $14.99 book on Amazon that's going to teach you everything you need to know to learn how to sell. Like, that's crazy. But we do this all the time. So in your sales script, there is specifically in my high ticket closing script, there's specifically a section where you're talking about the cost of the problem versus the value of the solution. You've got to take your person through that if you want them to be ready to close at the end. And if you want that script, it is in the I'm Not a Salesperson sales book in the appendix. So if you want to get that free copy, you can go and get that script. So the second piece is what we call the earn the right, and it's basically why you. Why would they want to work with you versus anyone else? Why your product versus somebody else's? And that is something that you actually establish at the beginning of the class, or the beginning of the sales call, or the beginning of the presentation. That's something you're going to establish early on, because they need to like, trust, and have a connection with you, the salesperson. That's even before they have a trust, a relationship, and a positive experience with the product. They need it with you first. So we're going to work on helping them to understand why me. Why should they work with me as their sales coach versus somebody else? Why should they work with me on their business strategy versus somebody else? You need to know that at the beginning so that you're ready to close at the end. And that happens through how we earn the right and how we position ourselves. And then we earn the right for the product. And this comes through things like testimonials and firsthand experience, and any kind of scientific studies or data-driven research that shows why your product is great. Most people flip-flop these, and so they go product. Here's why my product's great. Here's why my product's great. Here's what people say about my product. And they don't take enough time to connect them to you, because the reality is your product is probably great, but there are other great products. And if we want to move this beyond a comparison of products, prices, and features and benefits, then we need to make that personal connection, that a big part of why they should buy your product is you. They get you. You come with the product. You're part of the package deal. And if they know that you're the right person and they like working with you and they trust you in the process, it's going to be heavily weighted towards your side versus I can get that for 20 bucks at Walmart, right? So we want to make sure that we are positioning you well and that they understand what is the benefit of working with you versus anybody else. Tip number 3 is hold your value. There's a tendency when people price compare that you want to meet them in the middle. And sometimes they show you prices to see if you will meet them in the middle. Don't lower your value. Hold your value, because the reality is that the reason why they're going to work with you is because they want you, they want the experience of being with you. Let me give you an example of this. Years ago, I was working with somebody in that pre-selling conversation, and we had the call, we scheduled our follow-up. She wanted a couple days to think about it. I said, okay, great. And during that time, she met somebody at a networking group that she attends, and I was charging $2,500 for a product at that time. And she said, we got back on the phone, and she said, well, I learned that you're expensive. And I said, really? Tell me about that. She said, I met somebody at my networking group, and she will do exactly what you will do for $250. Now keep in mind, $2,500, $250. This was a 6-month, really intense business course that we were talking about. It was live coaching with me. And I'm sitting here going, okay, interesting. And so I did not lower my value, which is what I think this client was wanting. Instead, I held my value and I said, well, here's the deal. Let's do the math on this. She's going to work with you twice a month for 6 months. So that's 12 appointments. Let's divide that by 250 and see how much she's making per appointment. And that doesn't even cover any business expenses, marketing, her systems that she needs. It costs money to run your systems in business. So let's just look at that. And we went through it, and at the end, the other coach was not making any money. And I said, here's the deal. You can do whichever one you want, but I don't want to be making that much money for me, and I don't want you to be making that much money per hour either. So if you decide to work with me, here's what I'll teach you how to do. And she signed with me. So it's this temptation to want to lower our value or lower our cost when people say that they don't like our price. You got to hold that value and hold the cost so that you can find the right clients who really value what you have to offer and are going to take advantage of it and be great to work with. Some of the worst clients are the ones that you gave substantial discounts to because they want everything for nothing and they're extremely demanding, and it's not fun to work with them. So hold your value. All right, let's talk about the script that you're going to use to overcome this objection. In every overcoming objection script I use, there are 4 steps. It's acknowledge what they just said, ask them a question to open the door back up, get permission to then give them your information. And this one is going to flow the same way. So what I would do is I would acknowledge and I would say, okay, so it sounds like you are interested in this product or service, but you're concerned because you think you can get it for less somewhere else. Is that correct? And when they say yes, I would say, okay, well, can I ask you a question? What do you see as the benefits of our product and our service? Why are you interested in it in the first place? And then once they tell me the things that they're interested in, I say, okay, well, do I have permission to share with you my perspective on this? And then I'm going to give them, as soon as they give me permission, I'm going to give them the information that I want to say, which is, listen, you don't want a business coach who's going to charge you $250 for 6 months. That's crazy. If they're not even making money in their business, how are they going to help you make money in your business, right? Or you're comparing a watered down drugstore version with something that has pure ingredients that are tested at a higher level. You're not going to get the same results. And so you can then position it. Or, yes, you can get braces for less using Smile Direct Club, but have you actually looked at how many people are very angry because they've had a terrible experience using Smile Direct Club and have then had to go and pay an orthodontist a whole bunch more money to go and fix it? Because in my opinion, you should check that out before. Like, it allows us to be able to then have the conversation because they gave us permission to share it. So that's the formula that you're going to use for your script: is acknowledge, ask, permission, inform. Works every time, every objection. Okay, my last tip for you is what I call the takeaway, which is if somebody is really pushing against you, like they're pushing on price and they're really like, well, I want you to match, I want you to price match, even grocery stores price match, I want you to price match. If they're really pushing on that, take your option off the table, and if they really want it, they'll come closer to you. So what that sounds like is, you know what, we might not actually be a fit, because it sounds like what you value most is just price tag. And what I value most is that we have a great working relationship and that you're highly committed to doing whatever it takes in order to be successful. We might not have the same priorities here, so maybe we're not a fit. And then if they really do want to work with me, they'll be like, oh shoot, she's going to run away and she's not going to take me. And so then they'll come to you. So that's my last tip. Now, here's the thing. If they really truly just want the cheapest price out there, you'll never win that race, and don't try, because all it takes is some brand new newbie whose business is so small they don't have any startup costs yet to undercut you. Think Michael Scott Paper Company from The Office, right? Like, they came in and offered such crazy low prices that they were beating out the competition, but it was not sustainable. So we don't want to try to compete for lowest price. And if that's truly what your client wants, you got to let them walk away and feel okay about it. All right, now you have the formula for overcoming price comparison. I would love for you to go to www.salesaremything.com and get your free copy of the I'm Not a Salesperson sales book, Sell Like a Natural Even If You're Not. It's a quick, easy read. It's under 100 pages, and every chapter is full of scripts and strategies and tools that you can use today to start increasing your sales. And I would love for you to go get a free copy. You can buy it on Amazon if you want, but might as well go get it for free. Also, if you would like to join a community of like-minded entrepreneurs, make sure that you jump on over to our private Facebook group, the CEO Spot, where you can get behind the scenes live videos, ask questions, engage, and connect with other entrepreneurs who are working on the same journey that you are. So has this been helpful? If you like this content, I would love if you would leave me a comment, push that like button, share this with some of your friends that are also entrepreneurs trying to figure out this crazy game of sales, and make sure that you subscribe to the channel so that you can get all the new content as it comes out. We've got some great data-rich videos on here, and I encourage you to go through and look. So thanks so much for watching. I'm Amy Walker. Hope you have an amazing day.